for yourself, right? You say, I'm going to work within these parameters. And sometimes as artists, like I feel like we all do this. And then at some point, you can either follow those arbitrary rules or you can break them and do whatever you want. But in a lot of ways, those rules are not unlike rules that you use to play games. So a lot of what goes on here is nothing but a system that you set up for yourself and you behave within this system. And in any kind of board game, that's exactly what you're doing, or any kind of game. There's a system of rules and you behave within these parameters. The key to all of it is a kind of sense of play. And that's what the name of the show is. And so, I'll just take this thing for instance. Basically what I do is I create these games out of the way that this gets put together. These things can be constructed and reconstructed multiple times eternally, and they'll always be different. So the thing with this is, if you look specifically at one individual can, you have 4 different colors in it, right? You've got the middle dot, you've got this middle section here, you've got the inside of the can, and you've got the outside. There's 4 colors. So I just thought, okay, I'm going to set up this game where you can't have any color next to each other. And so whatever can you pick, if I start here, I can't have a green dot next to a green dot, I can't have a blue next to a blue, yellow inside, or brown. So this whole thing is constructed by that sort of framework of that game. And by game, I mean like, okay, this isn't like, you know, there are winners and losers and that kind of thing. They're just simple games in terms of using a kind of chance to determine what the ultimate form is. So that thing, if I redid that, would not look like that, right? So this thing over here was also in a similar vein where if you look at these panels here, there are 3 panels put together, and they were created, if you think about those 3 panels, I broke this up into a kind of grid. So that there's a square there, there's another square here, there's another square here, and another square there, or a rectangle. And so this is a 3x4 grid. And so I would roll dice to determine where those cans are going to go. Which can I pick, which string I pick, and then where it's going to be placed. So this is all, now, the one part of the agency that I have in this matter is I get to pick wherever in the quadrant, wherever that thing's going to go. But it has to stay within that quadrant. So that's what this is, until it's done. Other things don't have specifically, well, let me go back over here. Underneath this, we have nothing. But eventually, hopefully, what's going to happen is, there's another game that I have that has Thomas the Train Tracks. And I painted the Thomas the Train Tracks, and you put down, you start off with one, and it's a little bit like this one where you can't match the colors together. But the people that play can put it wherever they want. And the longer, the more you, it's not only like this thing. So like the more you get out here, the more options that you can choose from. So the more cans you have. And it'll be like the same with this thing as well. The other thing that I like about this is like, I don't have to do any of this. You all can do this. Like I don't have to construct this. I try and keep these games simple enough so that anybody can do it. And you don't have to be a genius. They're very simple.
Can you tell us about the yellow one?
This is an old piece that I did a long time ago. Well, not a long time ago, probably like 2017, maybe, something like that. I included this because even before I started thinking about this, the gameplay was already in my two-dimensional work. One of my friends said, "Oh, this is like visual pachinko," right? Like, this whole thing is based off of a game that my kids played, this video game that my kids played, where the game is, you have to get this falling sugar into this cup. And you would draw like certain lines to direct the sugar into the cup.